Welcome to Workflows, presented by imagen-ai. Workflows is a podcast about saving you time and money in your photography business. Hear from people just like you. Put down that camera for a little, connect the headphones, and get to work with Workflows. Welcome to episode 1 of Workflows, presented by imagen-ai. My name is Scott Weinkiewicz, and I am the Content and Community Manager here at imagen-ai. I'm very excited about this podcast, and this is episode 1, but we thought we'd do something special before we dive into very workflow-specific topics for future episodes. And that is share the origin story for how this company, this service, this product came to be. I think that when you hear this story, not only will you relate as a photographer, but I think even more so, you'll understand what your clients are going through and how it all ties in together. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to 3 guys, my bosses and friends, Ron, Yotam, and Yoav, the founders of imagen-ai, and they're going to share the origin story of how this company came to be. So without further ado, let's dive in to the story. So this is episode 1 of our new podcast. So this is very exciting, and we're going to just dive into sort of an introduction of imagen-ai to everybody who has never heard of us, or those who have heard of us, who are using us, using the software, trying the software, and give them a backstory about why this exists and just the whole origin story, because it really is a fascinating story that I feel like, yes, it's been told before, but I feel like we need to reintroduce this origin story to everybody because of how real it's such a real scenario. Like it really is a real thing. So I think it's a very exciting thing to share. So once upon a time, how long ago was it, Yoav, that you got married, and what started this whole process?
Yeah, it was like July, a bit more than 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Wow. Okay, so 3 years ago, you and your wife are getting married, and you hired a photographer. Who is the photographer?
His name is Nitzan Gur.
And he's an Israeli photographer, wedding photographer, does amazing work. And if you've been looking at the imagen-ai website, you've probably seen his work around. And if you've watched some of the videos that we've done, you've seen his work in some of those as well. Okay, so you get married, and what happens next? What happened that basically, got this all rolling?
Yeah. So you mainly waiting. Like we went abroad. We was like on a honeymoon. We were like a month abroad. We got back, and we were waiting. And I guess 2.5, 3 months after, then you finally get the call said that it's ready.
So yeah. So you finally...
in the meantime, your wife saying like, why were we not getting it? Like, why does it take so long?
Yeah, this is such a common issue all around the world where photographers are taking a while to get their work back to their clients. And so, I'm in the United States, and we celebrate Thanksgiving in November, and I'm at the Thanksgiving table. And our friends who joined us were saying that it's been 3 months since they got married. They got married during the pandemic. They did a small church wedding, which I actually photographed for them. That was a very, basically it was immediate family and the bridal party basically in this giant church where everybody had to wear masks. And so I photographed that for them. And then they hired an actual wedding photographer to photograph their big wedding celebration, which, with all their guests. And 3 months following the big wedding celebration, they still have not received their wedding photos. And so this is a very common occurrence. So it's now 2-3 months after your wedding. You finally got your photos, and then what happened?
My wife girlfriend, my wife friend, got married like a bit more than 3 months after our wedding with the same photographers. So we got our images, and then like 1 or 2 weeks after, I met the same photographer again in another wedding, and I was start talking to him, and he's spending so much time on editing, about 20 hours per wedding. It, it's like crazy these days, and I was start talking to them and ask him why does it take so long? Like we have computers, we have AI. Why we need 20 hours to edit the wedding?
Yeah. And so you already had a background in AI at the time, correct?
Yeah. At the same time, I did my master with computer vision, uh, and yeah, and exactly the same field.
So was it at this point where you started building something with basically for him on your own, or did you at that point partner up that early on?
So on that point, I started looking at the field. I checked online, seeing that there's so many photographers having the same problems. I've joined some communities, uh, and then I started to read some papers about it. There are some papers about it, and Adobe has a data set of examples of like 5,000 images edited with the same photographer, and I took the challenge academically.
Nice, nice. So then you started building this out, and you got to a point where there was like a working prototype, basically at this point. So how did Yotam and Ron come into the play? Where did this relationship, where did it come from, and how did it all come together to build what we now know as imagen-ai?
Like I had like 5 photographers who were using the a very basic of the app that looks like it was created in the 80s, and
Nice.
and then your time joined, and I'll let them take it from there.
So I actually met Yoav at university. We had done our research under the same supervisor at university. I was also researching deep learning and computer vision, but on a different field. I was actually trying to understand how you can create a depth map, understand the depth of each object with only one camera, while you usually do it today with two cameras. So that was a different field, and I really wanted to build my own startup at that point. And I was going towards the end of my master degree, so I was starting to think about ideas or to talk with friends about different ideas. And I asked Yoav to join me for a different idea. And then he told me, listen, I already started that. It looks really promising. Um, why don't you join me? So I did. And I think it was um, around February of 2020. And both Yoav and I had kids born like 2 months later. So for me, it was, right at the same time. I mean, my baby was born. He was born in Canada, so I had to travel to Canada. The pandemic started, so we had to flew to Canada while COVID is happening. We were waiting for the delivery, and while we were waiting, I actually had my laptop, but I didn't have a screen. So we went out to Walmart. We bought a screen, and I started working on the application. And as you have mentioned, it looked very ancient. So we initially started to build a GUI to look better, the graphical user interface, and And I think that's it. And it took us about a few months more to get to something that looked a little bit better and to start speaking. I think that at this point we were only speaking to Israeli photographers. And all along the way, they kept saying how much time it saves. So, the user interface was not perfect at this point, but the value of the product was showing right from the start.
Yeah, the value outweighed the look and
Exactly.
the feel of it
Exactly.
at the time. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes that's, especially coming out of the gate, it's better for it to do what it does well than for it to look amazing.
Exactly.
So it seems like there's a trend going on with imagen-ai where you travel somewhere and then you buy a screen.
Definitely. I just like buying screen all over the world.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's so funny.
I don't remember what I did with the screen. I didn't give it like out in a contest like we did with that one.
Yeah. Just leave it at the hotel.
Yeah.
For someone to use. So now you guys have a product that's been thoroughly tested by a good amount of photographers. You know it's working well. You know it's saving them a ton of time, and you're starting to make it look more beautiful and things like that. Where'd Ron come from?
Yeah,
how'd that all come into the play?
I guess my angle is different than the technical angle. In that time, I'm speaking with Yotam. He's in Canada. Yotam and I know each other from age 6. So like we basically, he's my best friend and I'm his. And my perspective is that Yotam is sharing with me that he started something new, and it's quite exciting. And he's keep telling me about this, product that, using AI is sharing with me that's, top notch and like, it's really impressive and amazing. And he's starting to share more and more, details and information and just, doing a virtual beers. And then later on, when he came back to Israel, it was like a physical beers together. And we just like, chill together and just talk about business. Like, what is it? What's going on here? I mean, what's the value? What is the product market fit and who are the users? And I'm coming from the product field. I'm coming from design and product. And that for me was like, I'm sharing with him that's, you have something quite rare here going on. The value is clear.
Yeah.
The product is solid. It's working. The feedback are amazing. Like people are raging and say, this is saves a lot of time. And raving about it saves a lot of time. This is actually changing my life. And I'm telling you, Tom, as a friend that's coming from product and growth, basically, that sounds like magic. That sounds like something that you should develop, evolve. And we, discussion becoming more and more, I would say, intense, and we are both getting more and more excited about it. And then basically I met with Yotam, and the story began. This is as simple as that in a way.
Yeah, what you were just describing with like that feeling of like there's something here. That, especially in the photography industry where, although photography has been around for, a very long time, it's not too often when there's something that's as such a big game changer in the photography industry. I mean, obviously going from film to digital, that was a big one. Where AI starts making its way into cameras, where with eye detection, that's a big one, making portraits even sharper.
Yeah.
But, now we're talking about literally saving people time and money with making very accurate edits like they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's brilliant. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the best way to
I,
describe it.
I would also add to that that it's a great utilization of AI. That's something
Yeah.
that is not obvious at all. We are very proud that finally there is an AI that actually, you know, free up time and let you focus on things that you love and make you better at basically life. You know, make your life
Yeah.
better in many aspects and perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the feedback we've seen, at least, actually today is 1 month that the day we're recording this. I've been with imagen-ai for a month today. So that's pretty cool. Um, so in my time so far here, I've noticed people saying time saving, money making as
Yeah.
well, which that caught me off guard, but I totally makes sense. And
Mhm.
then also the big one that comes up a lot is the mental health.
Yes.
And I feel like as much as the other three things are important, I
Yeah.
feel like there's nothing better than being able to say us as a team are helping people's mental health. That's cool. That's real cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
amazing.
I agree. I mean, we are hearing like tons of like just emotional stories about, you know, how in this very stressful year, I would say, very busy year for everyone.
mhm.
Semi post COVID, right? Yeah, we are still in the middle of COVID, but it's feel like that this summer was special in many ways,
Yeah.
in terms of business and growth and so on. And Imagine AI just was kind of a cue to all the chaos around, in terms of time and productivity. Yeah.
Yeah. What might we expect soon or in the near future maybe coming to imagen-ai that we can share today, like on the podcast?
Hmm.
What can we share that's coming soon?
Hmm.
So we have a really ambitious roadmap, I can say. A lot of things, and we really happy about the feedback that we get and about the requests that we get because it really points us in the right direction. I mean, when we just started, as you have said, so we had, I mean, you have Nitzan to consult with. Today we have,
Hmm.
thousands of photographers that help us choose the right direction and the path
Right.
that would save us the most time, that would save them the most time. So I can say that we got many requests for things like local adjustments,
Hmm.
things like supporting also Capture One, um, which Lightroom is by far the most um, useful tool in the industry, but Capture One is the second one, I guess. And many people are asking for Capture One support. Um, and we also have many things that we can't discuss right now, but stay tuned.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
we can mention that there's a redesign coming, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In terms of
That's
user experience, so we had, as you have mentioned, the first application was actually, it looked really bad. Then we designed it to look better, but still very functional. So, just
Mhm.
seeing the different functions, we still have many things that are missing. Um, and now we're designing it from scratch with, experts in the field, top experts, I would say. Um, and they're actually helping us, making it more intuitive and making it ready for the next step that we are planning. And hopefully everything that we want to include in it will be there.
I think now's a good time to invite everybody who's listening or watching this to the imagen-ai community. We just launched it a few weeks ago, and we're already at, I think, just shy of 1,300
Wow.
people, photographers in the community.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
Thank you,
yeah,
everyone. Thank you, everyone.
yeah,
Seriously, this is amazing feedback for us. Like we are blown away from that. Like, yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and by joining the community, which is completely free, it's on Facebook. It's like any other Facebook group, but we're all about workflows there. So we're trying to keep the conversation going about workflows in a variety of different scenarios. But by being in the Facebook community, you're basically giving us direct feedback about where we should go in the future. You know, there's going to be discussions about brand, the design. There's going to be discussions about branding. There's going to be discussions. There's going to be beta access eventually for different things. You know, so there's a lot of different fantastic opportunities for you, the listeners of this podcast, the viewers, to get more involved and really help us make the software even better for you. And like, for example, the Capture One topic comes up a lot in the community. So it's just a really good example of how you guys can be involved. So with that, Yotam, Yoav, and Ron, this has been episode 1 of our new podcast. So big celebration there. Is there anything you'd like to share with the listeners as we roll out of this episode?
I will maybe add that, you know, this product is built based. First of all, this is we are value first product. The main thing that we are keeping in mind that first of all and above all, the impact on the business and your time is huge. So we are investing a lot in the technology aspects and the UX to make sure that everything is seamless, low touch to no touch, and just working great. And beside that, we are, you know, the feedback that we are receiving is what fuels us. This is really what fuels us. And we ask, I'm clearly asking, like, keep sharing your feedback. This is what we are reading every moment, every morning. We are discussing this at lunch. We are going to bed when we think about this type of feedback. We really care about each one that use imagen-ai, and we want to make it the best as possible. We have the ability to build the perfect solution. So why not? Why not try to build the best solution out there? So this is our goal.
Yotam, Yoav, anything you want to wrap up with?
No, I think I really agree with Ron. We really like the, you know, communication with users, with photographers, with anyone, you know, who has any question about, you know, why don't you do that? How did I find the result? What are you going to do next? So just keep communicating. I really love, I mean, the fact that our community is already like 1,300 people after like 2 weeks. I think that this is amazing for me because I mean, I feel like photographers are really engaged. You know, they really care about the products that they like, and this is really unique. I mean, this is really something that's unique, and I've been to like different industries, and this is the first time I see that people are so engaged into the community. So this is really cool, and this is really helpful for us. So continue with that.
Yeah. I will share one maybe final thing. We are growing fast. Our team is growing fast. So this is also a shout out to the community. If you want to get involved with imagen-ai, feel free to contact us. Feel free to share your thoughts. Feel free to show yourself and just, you know, get in touch. We are growing fast and worldwide, and this is an opportunity to join the momentum, join the revolution. Yeah.
Great. We're actually going to have a post about that, in fact, in the community very, very soon, too, about different opportunities here at imagen-ai for photographers in the community who want to get more involved. So stay on the lookout inside the imagen-ai community for that. So thank you guys for coming on. I hope that everybody who's listening to this understands that what we are offering, the product, the service, it came from a real world scenario. Like it was birthed from an actual story of the exact reason that we're solving the problem that we had, basically, that Yoav had, and that we've seen countless times. That's the problem we're solving. And I think it's also a rare thing to see software and services come out that actually came from a personal pain point, right?
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. So thank you guys for hopping on with me for this first episode. I can't wait to get this out there and to get out the next episodes. And that's it. So
Hey,
thank you guys.
Scott, thank you.
Thank you
We
so
love
much, Scott.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Workflows. We invite you to join the imagen-ai community by going to imagen-ai.com/community. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You've been listening to Workflows presented by imagen-ai. To see the show notes and everything referenced in this episode, please go to imagen-ai.com/podcast.